Finally starting to cool off outside. It's starting to get a little bit chilly out there almost. The fall, the winter months, they approach. Winter is in fact coming, and the end of the real racing season, unfortunately, going to be coming to an end here very, very soon. But the good news is that means the iRacing season here at Vidane TV with Tim's Corner Motorsports getting ready to kick things off once again for round number 2 in this year's Tim's Corner Motorsports seasons. Brett Suggs coming home with the race win in the very first race here just a couple of weeks ago, and he locked himself in to the TCM 300 later on this winter. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. We've actually got a little bit different coverage here. We got Ashton Reiki wandering around the racetrack. He's trying to make this race, but we got him on the old wireless headset all the way around this track here. Ashton, how are we doing tonight?
Things are good. We're looking okay. We're not fast, but we're consistent.
Sometimes that's all that matters here at these tracks. You can see that Ashton is going to be running in this very first heat race, so we'll leave him alone for this much, and we'll see what it is that we can do here in this one. 12 laps going to be on the board for 4 heat races, 2 Conti races after that. Those are going to be 20 laps a pop. A little bit of a bump there to give the drivers in the back a little bit extra time to make their way up towards the front. And we're taking 4 from everything. So top 4 from each heat race, top 4 from each of those 2 consies, going to give us a final race with a total of 24 drivers. So that's going to be a blast to watch here. We're watching it here on Vidane TV because we're doing it live here on Vidane TV. And speaking of Brett Suggs, going to qualify right there on the pole in that number 33 machine. Chen Woolridge on the outside of him in that 56 car as we go on through the field here. Watching all these drivers get everything lined up here on the front straightaway, and we're going to be kicking things off here momentarily. Dylan Black right in behind him. Travis Roma going to finish up row number 2. Jeff Narron, Noah Healy right in behind them. How about the 93 car, the 093 scoring, timing and scoring. Kyle Young rejoins Sim Racing, rejoins the iRacing world. Got all the bells and whistles and kinks worked out. He's actually back there with Ashton Reiki as well. Mike Alexander in the 75, rounding out the top 5. And Evan and Mick, Dan Withers going to miss the call for this one. We'll see if we see them later on in the consolation races. Made mention, going to have a pair of them later on here tonight, and that is where the action really starts to heat up. Get that last chance for romance, and we get rocking and rolling. And we're getting ready to go rocking and rolling once again here live on Vidane TV. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Shout outs to everybody. We're going to try to be interactive throughout the evening here. Lots going on at Vidane HQ, but we need to concentrate on the action at hand and the entertainment value, and that is the green flag. Dan Wilbert's great jump on the outside. Gets a little bit further in front of Brett Suggs, but Suggs really able to jam up through the gears in these late models and get right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Try and take that shorter distance around the racetrack, but not going to work too much. A little bit of extra grip up in that middle groove for Tan Woolridge. A little bit of a connection issue there, it looks like, for Suggs, but everything gathers back up. Tan Woolridge still trying to close that door, and you can see he's going to lead another lap. Brett Suggs right there on his back bumper, not quite able to come back down. Suggs not quite up. He's going to make better of it at this point. 10 laps to go in the very first heat race of the evening. And you can see Suggs slides back in, second into the tire tracks. Dylan Black, a little bit of a wiggle there in the back end of that race car. Going to slide him back just a little bit. That battle for first, though, going to take maybe a half a lap off, and then they're going to get right back to it. Tan Woolridge holding tough on the outside. Ooh, cuts some Suggs off there in the 33 car just a little bit of an earlier entry than he's been running the first couple of laps here. You can see Suggs back into the tire tracks. Going to try and study the back bumper because that's going to be something he's going to be able to use for later on. You can see Dylan Black still holding on to third right there, and Travis Roma slides up into that P4 position, and that's the money spot right now. P4, the top 4 drivers in each of these heat races transferring into the main show here tonight. Everybody else going to find themselves an opportunity to try and race themselves in to those last chance qualifiers, last chance for romance, if as it were. In these, we're going to have 2 of those, 20 laps a pop, and lots of racing action here tonight. And man, oh man, this battle for the lead will not quit. Woolridge holding on to it. Suggs is in fact right there, all over the back bumper of the number 56 car. He's trying to see where he's quicker. You can see that time coming out of turn 4 just a little bit lower, trying to get a little bit of air on the nose, trying to get that car to turn just a little bit better. You can see he tries to diamond on down into the corner, tries to open up that spot just a little bit. He's there briefly, but not quite. Popsicle sticks, 2 laps to go. Up, nope, just kidding. 3 laps to go. I guess that's still technically popsicle sticks. You just have 3 popsicles. But in any sense, Woldridge still a commanding lead. About a car length now over Brett Suggs. He's still Dylan Black in that 3rd position comfortably. Now we get the popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go. Here in the very first heat race, you can see the Roma machine, the number 38 of Travis Roma, holding on to P4 right now. Noah Healy, Jeff Narron, 5th and 6th respectively, but the white flag's going to fly in this one. Woldridge still holding on to it by about a half a car length as they come out of turn number 2. Identical lines, and you can see Brett Suggs right in the tire tracks, closest right up to the back bumper, but not quite enough to get up and around and steal that position away. But that very first checkered flag of the night going to go to Young Tan Woldridge in that number 56 car. Brett Suggs, Dylan Black, and Travis Roma are going to be the top 4 drivers in this one. They're going racing here this evening in the main event of the show. Everybody else, they're going to have to come back in to the last chance qualifiers before the main event here tonight. Lining them up now for heat race number 2. Just that quickly, we're going to be lining them up there 2 by 2 on the front straightaway. Noel Fougier going to be the driver that takes the pole in this one. You can see that number 36 car. And right on the outside, going to be Nicholas Doucette, Kyle Gammon, Jason Goss right in behind them. Keith Lord, John Gahan, John Byron, Dave Horton, Jeffrey Brown, Steve Matthews, and Derek Gates. Going to be rounding out the 11 drivers taking the green flag. Actually, looks like Stephen Matthews may have missed the call to this one, so we might see him in the Conti race. 10 drivers out here battling it out for the top 4 spots, and those drivers, in fact, going to go to the main show here later. I want to thank everybody again for turning in tonight here to the Southern National 150. Tonight's round 2 of the 2022-23 iRacing season here for Tim's Corner Motorsports. Very excited to have everybody here tonight. Again, tuning in on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, all that good stuff. Getting ready to do a little bit more green flag racing action here. Getting everything lined up. The iRacing pace car lights are indeed out. He's going to be pulling down onto pit road for a little bit of ice cream, maybe a Coke, maybe a corn dog. There's the green flag from Marnie and the flag stand. Noel Fougier, great jump, great restart on the initial start of this race. He's going to clear the 2nd place driver of Doucette, and you can see a little bit of calamity in behind them, slamming and banging now for position, little 3 wide action for that 4th position. You can see there's about a 6-car battle for the top 3rd and 4th position, little side-by-side action. Goss in the 41 has it down on the bottom side. The 98 has it up on the top side. That's Kyle Gammon trying to hold on to it. They're side-by-side in behind them. Keith Lord, John Gahan, John Byron all up in the mix as well here. Still up front, bumper to bumper up towards the front, but it's calamity here for 3rd and 4th. There's a little bit of contact. Sending the 017, Keith Lord up into the gravel and getting a little bit loose, losing some positions there, but it's still hot. Up in this 4th place battle. Oh, a little bit of a shove ski to the back bumper of the 41 of Goss. That's going to lose him a lot of track position and the transfer position. Going to slide him on back to P5, and he knows he needs to go. 8 laps to go here in the 2nd heat race. Up front, still Noel Fougier holding on to the lead over Nicholas Doucette. Side-by-side battle for 3rd and 4th. These 2 drivers currently in. If the race were to be over, they would be into the main event later on here tonight, but they know they still have 7 laps to go. John Gahan clears for 3rd place. Little bit of a cushion now in behind him. The 98 car of Kyle Gammon, though, knows he needs to get going. He has got a rear view mirror full of that primer gray car, the 41 of Jason Goss, closing on into the back bumper, bringing John Byron with him as well. Those drivers still a little bit bunched up, spread out just a little bit. They know they need to start trying to work together if they're going to get up into that top 4 transfer position, because these guys know just how exciting these last chance qualifier, these consolation races will be. Everybody trying to make the big show here tonight. Everybody trying to qualify themselves in, get themselves a professional starting spot in the TCM 300 coming up later on this winter right here live on Vidane TV. Be sure to check out all the different Facebook pages for Tim's Corner Motorsports, Vidane TV, as well as timscorner.ca for all the details in that. Still looking for drivers, still looking for sponsors and advertising partners. Be sure to contact Tim Terry, the man himself, and we will get everything sorted out here for you for sure. Popsicle sticks, 2 to go here in heat race number 2. Fougier and Nicholas Doucette up in the top. And there you can see, caution flag going to fly. Looks like Keith Lord finds himself pointed in the wrong direction. Going to bring out the very first U-House Racing Designs instant replay here of the evening. And here's Southern National Speedway. It's a short track, and we got hard racing all the way throughout. So it's good to see that these drivers have gone so good, or gone so long, rather, with a little green flag racing. There you can see Lord down on the bottom side. Looks like everything is A-OK, but then the 73 gets a little bit loose and clips that back quarter. There's a little bit of a slam there for the 24, I believe, as well. So that's a tough break. Couple of cars getting some big-time damage here in the late going of this one. More than likely going to end up seeing these drivers in the back of the pack and being in that last chance qualifiers. One of the two here coming up in just a few moments' time. But the iRacing pace car gathers the field back up. We're going to get them lined back up, and there go the lights. We're lining them up 2 by 2 all the way through, getting ready to go racing once again. Green flag flies once again. Noel Fougier gets the start that he needs, clears Doucette by about a half a car length. The 51 slides up, though, up the track just a little bit, gets the 36 a little bit of room side by side in behind them. Gammon and Gahan, the top 4 drivers now, still side by side. The top 4 drivers know that they are going to be the ones that transfer on into this one. John Byron in 5th, waiting for someone to make a mistake, but is that mistake going to come? Does not look like it. There's the checkered flag. Fougier takes the heat race victory in heat race number 2. Doucette, Gammon, Gahan going to be racing in the big show here later on this evening. Everybody else going to be seeing them in the consolation races coming up here in just a moment's time and getting them all lined up once again already. Crazy how quickly things go here at the racetrack when everything is ready to rock and roll, and it's all at the push of a button. Heat race number 3 on the docket now. Caden Tufts, Craig Tully going to be the front row. And looking through the field here, big-time names for sure. Matthew Barkhouse, Justin Collison going to be row number 2. Magic Mike Hopkins in the 78 car from the NEP Series. They're kicking things off for season number 4 next Thursday night right here on Vidane TV. Do not miss that for sure. Taylor Layton going to start in P6. Scott Negan, Todd Tufts, Nathan Tatry, Aiden Christensen, and Andrew Mugford going to round out 11 drivers running for this one. All 11 drivers running and gunning for that top 4, the coveted top 4 position. Gets you a qualifying spot into the A-Main, into the feature show tonight, and the winner of that race automatically gets you a starting spot in the TCM 300, and that's going to be live right here again on Vidane TV. Drivers getting around this racetrack relatively quickly, right around a 15-second lap time. 150 laps on the docket for the main event here tonight. But before we get there, a couple more heat races, couple of consolation races as well, and it gives these drivers just a little bit of practice in the green flag. Oh, a little bit of a slip up there back in the 3rd row, and you can see gathers it back up in the 078. That's going to be Mike Hopkins, and they're crashing up front. Leaders spun around, pointed in the wrong direction, and that is indeed going to bring out the first caution here of the night. Still wrecking here in the 3rd consolation race. We'll back up to U-House Race Designs instant replay and find out exactly what it was that went down here, and it's going to be tough to see here. We'll see if we can take a peek. We'll take a peek from the old U-House Race Designs blimp, and we're actually gonna back this right up to the start because it kicked it off kind of early here. We'll take a peek at that replay, and there you can see this is right from the initial start. You can see everybody lined up 2 by 2. There's a little bit of a bump for the 078. Gathers it back up. Everything looks a-okay from there, but then you can see the contact. Alexander into the back of the 50 machine, or the 05 machine rather, and just calamity after that. Christensen gets a little piece of the action, a little piece of the 29 machine, and a lot of bumper car action towards the back of the pack, but it looks like they got that all sorted out, and we're going to see a couple of drivers, just one driver down on pit road. Scott Negus in the 93 car going to try and take advantage of that. But the iRacing pace car already got the lights off on this one. Going to tuck back into the safety of pit road. Going to let these drivers go out 2 by 2. Going to take that restart with 8 laps to go. And there you can see Tufts wanted that start, wanted that cushion. He's going to get a monster jump there. And he's already, crushing already, coming out of turn number 2. Caution flag flies once again here at Tim's Corner Motorsports. So the pace car gathers the field back up once again to get everybody lined up, and you can see Taten Tufts has a strong car up in that 88 car holding on to the P1 position. Justin Collison up 2 spots from where he qualified in P2. Aiden Christensen in that 24 car, 7 spots gained here already with just 6 laps to go halfway through this heat race. And you can see Nathan Tatry and Mike Hopkins currently in the top 5. And remember, top 5 is good, but top 4 is where you want to be. The top 4 of these drivers go on to the A main here later on tonight, trying to get themselves a spot into the main show here tonight and qualify into the TCM 300 coming up in December. And we've seen a lot of big names and some fantastic racing over the past couple of years. We aim to continue that. Green flag flies again. Caden Tufts, phenomenal jump once again. Justin Collison holding on though on that high side, and take a look at that battle for 4. Top 3 breaking away just a little bit. 2 by 2 for that 4th position, that transfer position as well. The 078 there with Magic Mike Hopkins up there as they're side by side for the lead. You can see just how intense the racing is all the way around this racetrack. There you see the 3 cars up in the front broken away, and you can see they are gathered up in a big way for that 4th position with 2 laps to go. Hopkins and Barkhouse side by side. The 078 gets a little bump, gets it sorted out, going to lose all that track position, going to finish outside of that top 4. Caden Tufts going to come take that white flag, a white rag, 1 lap to go here in this one. We made mention 1, 2, 3. Everybody looks okay there. You can see now Barkhouse holding on to that 4th position. Tully going to do everything he can to try and get to the back bumper, but not quite. Gives it a little bit of a tap. Not quite enough there. Caden Tufts going to come home with the victory. Aiden Christensen finishes 2nd. Justin Collison and Matthew Barkhouse going to transfer on in to the A-Main here later on tonight. Everybody else heading on in to those consolation races. That's going to be coming up right after this one. But the 4th and final heat race getting lined up right now. And up towards the front, going to be the 9 of Delaney with Ryan Libby in the 46 car on the outside. Barrett Bonner, Kyle Boudreau going to round out the 2nd row of drivers. Danny Vitch, Brody Lewis, Quentin Carpenter, Andrew Tatry, Colin Boudreau, Colin B, Brandon Lively, and John Murphy. 11 drivers gunning for those 4 spots, gunning for those 4 starting positions here in this one. And you can see we are not wasting any time. The iRacing Mustang pace car already down and away. These drivers getting ready to go racing once again. Lights are off in the pace car, lined up 2 by 2. Delaney and Libby going to take control of this one. The pace car goes down the safety at pit road, and the green flag flies once again. Heat race number 4 is green, and there you see Delaney does everything he can to hold on to that bottom side, gains that position. A little bit of a wiggle there for Libby, but he holds on to it, holds on to that second position. Battle now for third, heating up just a little bit. The 04 of Bonner holding on to it. Kyle, the 81, holding on to the 4th spot. Then they're side by side, right in behind them. Brody Lewis, Danny Vitch going side by side. Ooh, the 22 car out into the outside wall. Brody Lewis going to lose a lot of track position and gain a lot of damage. You can see he's now going to try and get underneath the pitch machine of the 29, the Major Mellon Mountain Dew car. And he's trying to hold on to it. Tough battle there for that 4th position. Check that 5th position. 4th being held on by Kyle there in the 81. Barrett Bonner right up in front of him. Still Cameron Delaney, Ryan Libby, the top 4 as we stay green with 9 laps to go. Heat race number 4. All these drivers battling it out for a starting position here in the big one here tonight. The Tony Setup Shop LLC number 81 car being driven by Kyle there, and holding on to that 4th spot, doing everything he can to do what he needs to. And there you can see Danny Vitch pointed in the wrong direction, getting passed around there just a bit, but it looks like they gather it back up. Nope, gets a little bit too low in the gearbox. Trying to get it sorted out there. We did hear from Tim Terry, race officials, earlier on here tonight that we're not going to be throwing the caution here for single car spins or anything like that. We're going to try and get it sorted out on the racetrack. So that's why you didn't see a quick caution flag come out there. But there you can see up front, a little bit of lap traffic now. The stun drop machine going to go a lap down. Delaney going to hold on to first. Libby still in there in second. Bonner now in the 3rd spot. And there you can see the 81 right in behind him with 5 laps to go here in the heat race. Of John Murphy and the 29 of Danny Vitch pulling it into the garage area. Going to have to see those guys out in the Conti here in just a moment's time. Brendan Lively also pulling multiple laps down here at this point, but still out on track. 3 to go now for Delaney and the number 9 car. Ryan Libby right on his tail. About a car length, maybe 2 car lengths back. Trying to do a little bit of homework, studying where that car's good, where he's a little bit slower, and where he thinks he can get around him. But there you see him, popsicle sticks. 2 to go once again in the heat race, the final heat race here of the evening. And up front, still Cameron Delaney, Ryan Libby, Barrett Bonner, Kyle Boudreau in the 81 car. Brody Lewis a little bit further on back, and you can see definitely has some big-time damage from the wall contact there in the number 22. Cameron Delaney in the 9 car, though, coming in to turn 3 and 4. He's got Libby in tow, and he sees that checkered flag in sight. He's going to reach up there and touch it one time because Cameron Delaney going to come home with the victory. Ryan Libby, Barrett Bonner, and Kyle Boudreau in the 81 car going to be transferring into the main one. Everybody else jumping into those Conti races. We made mention of those Conti races a couple of times. They start right now. 20 laps here on the board. We're taking a peek here. These are the drivers outside of the top 4 finishing. Ashton Rickey is down in there starting P11, so we'll let him do his thing. We got to get him up into the top 4 here in this one, and then we'll see if he comes up in here in the broadcast booth, maybe after a cool beverage to warm down. He did qualify 87th here tonight, so that was a 42 car field, I think. Carry the one, whatever the case. We kid because we care. But the cars are rolling once again. The iRacing Mustang pace car has shut the lights off. And there you can see Craig Tully, Noah Healy up in the front row. They're going to be kicking it off. Nathan Thatchery, Jeff Nairn, Tyler Layton, Chantel Pottles, Todd Tufts, Mike Alexander, Mike Hopkins, Kyle Young, Ashton Reeking, Andrew Mugford, Scott Negus, and it looks like Evan Amick may have missed the start of this one. But 13 cars fighting it out, duking it out, paddling it out for 4 starting spots. You got to finish in the top 4 to transfer on into the A-Main here tonight. And we've mentioned it a couple of times. Winner of that A-Main here this evening gets themselves a provisional start in the TCM 300 later on this season. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for tuning in here tonight for ATV's coverage of Tim's Corner Motorsports show number 2, round number 2. Shout out to everybody tuned in on the YouTube, on the Facebook, and over on the Twitch. I see you guys. Great to be there, and man, already seeing some action on a track. Car pointed in the wrong direction. Caution flag going to fly right into this one, and we're going to take a peek and see what it looks like. These drivers still up to full song. There we go. Getting it slowed back down here. Mike Alexander involved in this one. So we're going to pull up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay and find out what went down, find out what's up, brought out this very first caution here. And, well, it looks like a little bit of big-time contact. We're going to take a peek at it right here from the start. Focusing on that black and yellow Xander sign, number 75 machine. That's where the action ends up. There you can see a car is actually spun around up in the front, the 72. Whoa, 75, big-time shot, and that is a big hit for the Alexander ride in the 75 car, landing on his roof there. So that's a tough break, and man, it's tough to see. Tough to see. See the 84 car got a piece of the action as well. We're going to back that up one more time while we're under caution and take a peek here. And this is you saw the green flag, and there was a little bit of a shot. Looks like Tully got into the back bumper of the 84, sent it around just a little bit. There's a little bump car action. Plinko, I think, is the name of the game. But that's going to be tough to recover from, especially with so many cars still on the lead lap. But we gathered them back up. We're lined up 2x2. The iRacing pace car, he's gone. They're already bumping and banging. And there you can see green flag flies once again. That's going to be Hopkins here in the 078. A little bit of aggressive on that start, and it looks like he wants to get up towards the front. He wants all the smoke. He wants to try and get in to that transfer spot and get into the A main here tonight to see if he can get himself a little bit of a victory. And you can see he gets on down. He's going to slide into the second position. The 06 car's big time loose there. Down on the bottom side, gets it smacked into the outside wall. We stay green. A little side-by-side action now for third. There you see the 093 car of Kyle Young crashing in back a little bit further on back. We stay green. Oh, big time loose for the 093. There's Mike Alexander in the 75. This guy's all over the racetrack here. 13 laps to go still. Mike Hopkins up in the front, holding on to it. Taylor Layton, Jeff Nairn, and Ashton Reekie. How about that? Fourth place right now for the Quaker State ride, doing everything he can to try and hold on to that starting position. There you can see Chantel Pottle in the 05 machine, spins around, gets everything sorted back out. Not quite going to get that caution flag to fly once again here, and that's going to give everybody a little bit of breathing, because that was a couple of laps of big-time action, big-time chaos. A little bit of sometimes we call it controlled chaos, but I'm not sure if there was much control going on here. Take a peek here at the multi-color machine, the 05 car. There you can see a little bit of contact there between Chantel and Kyle Young. A couple of drivers going for the same piece of real estate, and unfortunately, Chantel Pottle gets pointed in the wrong direction. Gathers it back up. A little bit of sheet metal damage on that machine, but doesn't look too worse for wear. Going to lose a little bit of track position and have a little bit of work to do to try and get back up into the top four here with 10 laps to go. Probably going to get the restart here with about 8 laps to go. So these drivers know that they've got 20 laps on the docket for these consolation races, but they need to go now. They need to get up towards the front, and some of the drivers have definitely picked up that notion. They've understood the assignment. Mike Hopkins, the 078, 9 spots gained from where he started in this consolation race. He's up leading this race. Taylor Layton in the 193 up in second. Jeff Nair and Ashton Reekie the top 4, with Craig Tully rounding out the top 5. This is still anybody's ball game, though. Anybody's race here. So you can see the iRacing pace car dipping down to safety at pit road. Green flag flying again. Hopkins shot out of a cannon. Big time lead going into turns 1 and 2 over that Layton machine, and you can see it's a dogfight for third on back. Drivers swerving and bumping and banging, beating each other, trying to get up to the top 4. You can see big time slide for Reekie up in the hot top, but he tries to make the momentum work. Gonna have a miracle, though, of Noah Healy in the 84 car. Man on a mission, trying to get back up towards the front after spinning. And the initial contact right onto the back bumper now with Ashton Reekie, who's got a great seat of the side-by-side battle for third. And then there's drivers up in front of him battling it out for the lead. Hopkins still holding on to it. Layton in second, Nairn and Tully. They're side-by-side, and they are wrecking big time in behind here. And there you can see Reekie, unfortunately, involved in this one with 5 laps to go. Lots of smoke throughout this one. There's some damaged race cars throughout the field. We're going to back the old U-House Race Designs instant replay and find out exactly what it was that brought us out into caution here, and looks like a little bit of contact on the racetrack. We'll take a peek at it here, though. From the racing signs, one of these cameras here, you can see Ricky goes up to the high side, Ashton holds on to it. A little bit of contact there and loses the back end of the race car. Unfortunately, hooks the corner panel of the 84, gets spun around. The 29 involved. Kyle Young gets a piece of the action as well, bringing out the caution flag here in this consolation race. And still a lot of racing to go here tonight, folks. Definitely want to stick around for this one. 150 laps on the docket in the main show, and it's going to be an absolute blast. These drivers know that the racing season coming to a close, so that means things are going to heat up in the iRacing world. We're really looking forward to it. Thanks again so much for tuning in at live YouTube, live on Facebook for Tim's Corner Motorsports and Vidane TV, over on Twitch as well. Shout out to all the True Fiction RP cats out there. Joey's going to be in there. I promise I'll open up the gun store soon. We got to get some guns out there to the Grand Theft Auto world. Anybody out there that's got Grand Theft Auto on your computer, TrueFictionRP.com. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Good group of folks. A little bit of role-playing game. Get out there, own your business, sell guns, do all sorts of legal and illegal activities in Grand Theft Auto. But speaking of activities, Mike Hopkins takes the green flag. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks up in the air. Hopkins gone. He is checked out. He's got himself a half a second, almost 6 tenths of a second lead, and they are wrecking big time in the backstretch. There's Kyle Young and as well as Todd Tufts in the 72 car, but we've taken the white flag. Mike Hopkins going to come out of turns 1 and 2 for the final time, down the back straightaway. Doesn't even have to look in the rear view mirror. 3/4 of a second to lead. Mike Hopkins going to take the victory here in the consolation race. Jeff Darren, Craig Tully, and Chantel Pottle. How about the recovery for the 05 car? Making the main show here this evening. Everybody else, well, they're going to have to hang out with us here at Vidane TV. And we'd love to have everybody out here. And we're lining them up here for the second consolation race. And already throwing his headset across the room, or his helmet across the room, throwing the headset back on. Ashton, what happened?
You got me there?
Yeah, we got you, bud.
Nothing really. I mean, I got moved up to the high side and I tried to get on the throttle, got loose. I think he thinks it was intentional, but there was no intention whatsoever. But it is what it is. It's racing. It's all fun and games.
Unfortunately, going to miss this one, but that means he gets to hang out with me up here in the broadcast. 20 laps.
Yeah,
back. Good.
That also means that I get to have some of the fresh banana bread that was just made.
Where the hell did we get banana bread?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I just melted that whole race. I think that's purposely why I quit.
Huh. So apparently there's banana bread in turn number 1. We're going to go to commercial and go get some of this banana bread. I think it's like a 27-hour drive, so we should be back in time for the feature, I think. But in any sense, 12 drivers out on track, battling it out for 4 positions, 4 more transfer spots into the show here tonight. John Byron, Brody Lewis starting up front, Jason Goss, Quinn Carpenter, Derek Cates going to be the top 5. Green flag flying in the air. One more again. Consolation race is down the way. Big time sliding around for Byron. Going to lose it big time. Contact with the poop barrels. We haven't seen that since the last time we saw that. Mike James from Up on the Rock calls it a little bit differently, but man, oh man, those water barrels getting a big how you doing from the 57 car John Byron on the start. That's a tough break. That was a fast car, losing a lot of track position here in this one. But that's going to give the lead to the 22 car. Saw him struggle in this heat race. Little damage in the outside safer barrier, but or the outside wall. No safer barriers here, it doesn't look like. But it looks like he's going to hold on to the lead for right now. John Byron rejoins the field there. A little bit of damage, big time damage on that 57 car. Going to rejoin the field, lap or feet down, it looks like. Brody Lewis, Quentin Carpenter Derek Gates, Jason Goss, and Andrew Tatry going to be the top 5 in this one. Keith Ford, Colin Grove, Dave Horton, Brandon Lively, and Jeffrey Brown going to be the top 10. Danny Fitch, John Byron, John Murphy, Steve Matthews, Dan Rivers, and there you can see a good start from the 21, an interesting start from everybody in behind there. A couple of mischiefs, it looks like potentially a tire or two that got spun. These back ends of the race cars a little bit loosey-goosey as these drivers make their way around this track, and you can see that Quinn Carpenter holds on to the second spot. The 24 car of Derek Gates holding on to third, but he's got a side-by-side battle. Two drivers that want that transfer spot. They want to try and get around the 24, and they want to get a little bit of an extra cushion there. You can see Goss in that fourth spot, currently in the transfer position, but he's got a mirror full of Dave Horton in behind him in that 73 machine, and he's doing everything he can to get up to the back bumper here. A little bit of time to go, 14 to go here in the final consolation race, the final last chance for romance, the last opportunity, pardon me, for these drivers to close the gap and get into the big show here tonight. You can see pretty much single file throughout the top 8 or so drivers, a little side-by-side action further on in the pack, and it's still being led by Brody Lewis in the 22, the 16 of Quinn Carpenter right in behind him. Derek Gates has a little side-by-side challenge now from Goss in the 41. Elects to go down to the bottom side. You saw he loses the back end of the race car just a little bit, slides him back a little bit, and that opens the door now for Keith Ford in the 017 machine. You can see trying to do everything he can to race his way into this one, to get into that fourth position and get up into the main feature here tonight. 10 laps to go, and these drivers know it. They're going to be closing in on the back bumper. They're doing their homework, trying to see where they can get around these drivers on the track, whether it's in turns 1 and 2, whether it's in 3 and 4, or if they have to sit there and wait for a mistake to be made by the driver in front of them. Still side by side now between Gates and Goss there for third position. Gates up on the high side, Goss down on the bottom of the 41 car. You can see the 41, gives the 24 a little bit of a tap, and that opens the door. 317, Lord, he's going to move into the transfer spot. Into P4, Derek Gates now on the offensive. Has to get going. Car around, I believe that's the sun drop machine. On the front straightaway, back straightaway. Derek Gates now sets his sights on the back bumper, needs to get back around that Lord machine, the 017. That is the transfer spot. That is, in fact, P4 and by the way. Battle for the lead, heating up here with 6 laps to go as they cross the stripe. Lewis has it in the 22. Danny Fitch down and around on the bottom of the racetrack. We stay green. Everybody still single file out on the racetrack. Lewis pulling away to 0.4 of a second lead. But you can see Carpenter doing everything he can. Quinton wants that spot, wants the victory. Here in the Consi race, he has got himself a transfer position, but he wants more. Jason Goss a little bit further on in back. There you can see another car back around in the back straightaway. That's going to be the 73 machine, pointed in the wrong direction as well. Dave Horton trying to get it back, gathered back up. Single car spin down on the inside of the racetrack, not in the racing group. So we do, in fact, stay green. Crossing the stripe with 3 laps to go now. Lewis holds on to it. Carpenter on the attack. Jason Goss has closed that gap just a little bit. 3/4 of a second, rather. The gap that he has to try and close up to get to the back bumper of that leader. Keith Lord still holding on to P4. Derek Gates closing into the back bumper, but not quite there, not quite enough. And you can see overdrives the car a bit, slams into the inside wall, loses the back end of that race car as the 22 of Lewis takes the white flag, takes the last lap of the race. Quinton Carpenter in the 16 going to hold on to second, but he loses the back end of the race car, slides all the way around. Gathers it back up for turn 3 and holds on to P2, right in behind Lewis, but right in front of Jason Goss. Keith Lord going to take that transfer position there as well in the 017 car, and everybody else going to be tuning in here live on Vidane TV and hanging out with us for the rest of the evening. Man, Ashton, there's been some great racing here. Looks like we got about 60 seconds or so of a warm-up before we get these drivers lined up for the feature event. 150 laps on the docket. You were out there for a handful of laps, couple of little short races, some qualifying by yourself. What can we expect? Easy enough for me to say. What can we expect out of these drivers here tonight?
It's going to be aggressive. You've got to make your moves when that door opens. You'll see the guys, as you can see, even in the heat races, the back end's coming out. When that guy in front of you slides up, you almost want to jump on the throttle really quick and try and get underneath him. And usually that means you're in the inside wall. turned around. It's slick coming off the corners, and I really think that second groove is going to come in.
And we've seen a lot of these drivers all over the racetrack trying to find grip, trying to find speed, and trying to find something that's going to give themselves an advantage over everybody else here in the field. They just had about a minute or so of practice, and looks like Tan Woolder's on top of the board with the quickest lap. Doesn't really mean too much because it's kind of a cluttered racetrack right now. Drivers know they've already qualified in, don't really have to mess around with qualifying trim too much, but it's always good to get that final little bit of tweak in there. But 24 cars going to start this one here, 150 laps on the board. Thank you again so much for tuning in to Verdane TV's coverage on Facebook, on YouTube, all over the place, especially over on Twitch. Shout out to everybody. We're going to try and be as interactive as we can throughout the evening here. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. Ashton Rickey, who unfortunately didn't make the field here tonight, but he ain't going home. He's going to be hanging out with us up here in the broadcast booth, and we're going to take a look at our starting grid for round 2 in the Tim's Corner Motorsports 2022-2023 fall-winter season. There you can see it, Tan Woolridge on top of all the scoring pylons, starting in P1, Noel Fougier right on his outside. You can see everybody making their way out to the cars there on the front straightaway. Second row, Caden Tufts, the 88 car. Cameron Delaney, very quick in that 9 car, is going to start in P4. Brett Suggs already locked into the TCM 300. Won a couple of weeks ago here on Verdane TV. He's going to start 5th. Nick Doucette in the 926 going to start in P6. Aiden Christensen, Ryan Libby, Dylan Black, and Kyle Gammon going to round out the top 10. And behind them, Justin Collison, Barrett Bonner going to be in the 11th position, the 11th starting spot. We turn the page. Travis Roma, John Gahan, Matthew Barkhouse, Kyle Bedreau, Mike Hopkins, Brody Lewis, Jeff Nairn, Quentin Carpenter, Craig Tully, Jason Goss, Chantel Pottle, Keith Lord, and a partridge in a pear tree. 24 drivers taking the green flag here into this one. All the drivers lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, getting ready to do some racing action here live on Verdane TV. This is going to be a blast. You can see the iRacing Mustang pace car. The lights are off. Everybody lined up 2 by 2, 24 cars strong in this one. And this is going to be exciting. 150 laps on the docket, and we start with lap number 1. Green flag flies. Tan Woolridge up in the front. Noel Fougier trying to take it away. Woolridge pulls away just a little bit. Lets them eat there in second. Tufts and Fougier side by side. The battle heating up for second. Everybody in behind as well. Trying to get a little piece of the action there. You can see the 9 of Delaney down the bottom side. Keeps trying to get up around Fougier in the 36th machine. Ashton, you and I talked about it before we got going here with the main event. Oh, looks like the yellow car pointing in the wrong direction. Travis Roma, the 38. Big time damage into that car. We stayed green, it looks like. Single car incident. Big time damage to the 38 machine, but we did hear that earlier on before the race. We weren't going to be throwing caution flags for single car spins, so letting them kind of do battle here, fight it out, and we'll see who comes out on top. Tan Woolridge, Caden Tufts, they're pulled away, and we're taking a peek here, Ashton. Battle for third, Fougier and Delaney side by side.
Yeah, you see Fougier up on that top side, and I was saying earlier, once the tires get hot, that top groove will come in. There's also a little trick you can use off the corners, is if you're just ahead a little bit, you can kind of, I guess it's considered pinching the guy down, because he's going to get loose on that bottom, and it gives you that opening. Fougier leaving lots of room, and still keeping up on the outside. Looks like he'll duck in here and try and just kind of follow along. There's a lot of racing left to do.
There you can see the 33 machine of Brett Suggs won 2 weeks ago here live on Verdane TV. Already has himself a qualified spot in the TCM 300 in December here on Verdane TV, but that doesn't mean he's going to rest. Qualified up in the top 5 and had himself a solid heat race, and he's going to be trying to win himself a second race here, trying to make it 2 for 2 in the TCM 2022-23 season. Tan Woolridge, Caden Tufts, still single file, bumper to bumper, a little bit further back there. You see Delaney in third, Fougier in fourth, and that's going to be Doucette in the 926, that black and green machine. That's 51 on your screen as you see it there. Holding on to the 5th spot, Brett Suggs, Dylan Black, Justin Collison, Ryan Libby, and Barrett Bonner are going to round out the top 10. 13 laps into this one, 150 on the docket, on the board for this one. Woldridge and Tuff still out front by a country mile, about a second back to Delaney there in third. He's got a mirror full now of Noel Fugier in that number 36 car, and you can see the 51 hot on his tail. It's very tight pack here for third on back. Brett Suggs up in the mix. Dylan Black there in the 0 car. Justin Collison has a front row seat to all of that. He's got Ryan Libby right in there with him. All these drivers know that one mistake can gain themselves a whole bunch of crap position. We're not trying to transfer into anything on. We're in the main event. This is the show. This is the big one here for the evening. And these drivers want to come back with a 150 victory here in Tim's Corner Motorsports, because what that does is it locks them in to the TCM 300. And Nash, I know it's a big race. It's almost a Super Bowl, I guess you could say, of TCM here in the iRacing world.
Yeah, I wasn't around, or I wasn't iRacing, I should say. I was around, but I wasn't iRacing at the time for the 300 last year. I'll be trying to work my way into it. As we can see, me and the qualifying game don't play well, it seems. I seem to be up here in the booth with you more than I am in the race car. But it's all good. I enjoy it, and hopefully I can maybe get into that 300 this year.
100%. A lot of fun up here in the production trailer, broadcast booth, down on pit road, all that good stuff. Anybody out there wants to give this a shot, give us a shout, slide in our DMs, let us know. Here at Verdane TV, you want to try out a little commentary action, maybe be a pit road reporter, or jump on, kind of study the drivers, give us a shout. We're more than happy to work with you. We can figure something out for sure. And it looks like Noel Fugier trying to figure something out in that 36 car. Gonna shoot down low, try and take away that third position from Delaney in the 9. Delaney holds on up on that high side. We saw that middle lane work late in the going in the heat race. It's probably about the third and fourth heat race where they started to get a little bit more rubber buildup on that middle groove. They got a little bit more traction up there, but unfortunately right now for Delaney, not quite what the doctor ordered for that race car. Looses it just a little bit. 51 car Doucette comes in as well. He's going to try and slide on into that bottom side. And there you see Brett Suggs. He was running up on that high line. He moved down to the bottom side to see if he can get himself down and around that 9 car of Delaney as well. So 9 car pointed in the right direction, but moving the wrong way on the scoring pylon.
Yeah, I talked to Noel after the last race we had there, and I simply just asked him how the heck are they this fast, and just trying to get some pointers, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction that I wasn't too far off the pace tonight. Clearly I'm going to have to make my way over to his virtual iRacing shop and maybe get some more tips to make my way into the 300.
And that's what it's all about. If you're interested in joining in with this, if you've got iRacing, swing on over to Tim's Corner Motorsports on the Facebook page, and you can get all hooked up there, timscorner.ca as well. Look for the iRacing logo. If you're trying to get iRacing for the first time, iRacing.com. There's all sorts of cool different things that come with it, different styles of racing, different race tracks, and it's all stuff that you can get checked out, iRacing.com. And be sure to look at promos. There's always good promos coming up, especially with the holidays right around the corner. I know the Black Friday sales are usually bomb diggity for iRacing, so keep an eye out for those. Make sure you let them know if Verdane TV sent us, because we want a little bit of the royalty check too. But out front, still Tanton Woldridge and Caden Tufts. I'm not sure where that name came from. Caden Tufts holding on to second right now, and these guys have checked out. 2.5 seconds now back to Noel Fugier, and it even looks like Noel has a little bit of breathing room. Not much. There you can see it. A little bit of breathing room back to that 51. Well, he's going to get a little bit more there, a little bit loose there for Doucette. He slides back just a little bit. Brett Suggs there rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, and Woldridge and Tuft, it's funny, they race legend cars here in Nova Scotia together. So Tuft just moved up into that legend car, and he's really patient. I think he got a lot of that from iRacing and works that over. But I think he's sitting and just waiting. There's still lots of time to go, and I think he's studying.
And that's what a lot of these drivers will do in these races, especially when we get a long green flag run like this one. These drivers kind of taking a peek, looking at the back of the driver. We'll see if we can ride on board here with Caden Tufts in that 88 machine and see just how much work is getting put into it. You can see sawing on that wheel coming out of turn number 2 to make sure that they keep everything pointed in the right direction. Gets right up to the back bumper there of Tanton in that 56 or in that 0 car, and has to check up just a little bit. Doesn't want to make too much contact. Wants to bump him enough to let him know that he's there, but doesn't want to upset the car up in front of him. And you can see there's a lot of different things that can be distracting to a driver with the sun glare, the shadows across the race car, every other which thing. You can hear all the rubber buildup underneath the car, slamming into the sheet metal underneath these race cars. And it's still pretty cool to see. We can jump into the onboard there of Caden Tufts and see what he's doing, what he's trying to get up, everything he's doing there to get up to the back bumper of Canton. You can see he's there, but he needs to get up to him and give him a little bit of a tap, I think, to get up and around him.
Yeah, I was noticing there, just from a driver's standpoint, is how little wheel he was putting in the center and the corner. That tells me he's still got some tire left, but I don't know if he's got much right rear left. You can see him coming off the corner. He's having to give it a little shot to the right to get that back end to settle again.
Nice wide angle shot there. Shows you just how much of a gap it is from Tufts in second to Fougere back into third. About 2 seconds is the distance, and you can see these three drivers fighting for that podium spot. You set in the 51, Suggs in the 35, right up in there, and Delaney a little bit further on back. Finally gets everything gathered back up, and that 9 car back in the sixth position. Justin Collison right there, Dylan Black, Ryan Libby, Matthew Barkhouse rounding out the top 10, and that's a heck of a battle there for the second half of that top 10.
So is a Bazat a mix between a position and a spot?
Yeah, it's we're doing all sorts of different things here. I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm trying to find some more cough drops here at HQ. We're struggling here tonight, folks, but we're going to entertain, by gosh.
I had to call you out on that one.
Everybody does. Ted Wildred still out front. Caden Tufts there in second, and these guys are starting to get to the point where they may very well be having to start thinking about some lap traffic. You can see one car there. You can see Chantel Bonnell a little bit further up, about a half a lap or so in front of the leaders, and everybody in behind there single file. So with these drivers looking at a long green flag run, there's a lot of things that have to start coming into the back of your mind. Lap traffic, as you can see, Tufts up into the outside wall, gives it a little scrapey scrape, slows him down just a bit, and that's going to knock a little sense out of him. And that's one of those things where it's going to take just a couple of laps to really get refocused. You don't want your car up into the outside wall, and sometimes you hear that metal on concrete sound, and it's like, well, what the heck is that? So he's going to have to get that thing refocused. You can see lost a couple of tenths of a second, now about a half a second on that leader, but he's still got quite a bit of a gap there back to third.
Yeah, and what that did for Woolridge up front there was he probably saw that in the mirror if he's got a spotter in his ear. Now he can kind of see how quick Tufts will come back to him, and he can kind of see where he's catching him, where he's beating him off the corner, or where he's losing into the corner, and it'll give him a chance to study what's going on behind him.
About the 81 car studying what's going on in front of him. A three-way dance for about the 8th position. Libby, Black, and Barkhouse battling it out. And right there, the 81 car trying to take advantage of any kind of mishaps that happen in that one. Working lap number 58. There's a little side-by-side action. Barkhouse going to go down on the bottom. Black up on the outside. He's going to tuck back in the tire tracks. Go single file here for this one. 102 laps to go before we get that checkered flag. Quick check on Mike Hopkins back here in the 16th position. Came home with a pretty good finish there in the Conti race, in the heat race, and getting ready to run season number 4 for New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. Kicking things off at October. I almost had it. Kicking things off at Daytona, October 14th. That's going to be next Thursday. That's going to be a heck of a show. Lots of fun with those guys. Be sure to tune in here. Live on Bedane TV, and live on Bedane TV here tonight, working lap number 51, crossing the stripe, boom, 52. Woolridge, Tufts. You can see Tufts closed up a little bit of that gap, but they didn't slow themselves down together as a pair because they are pulling away from this pack here for third on back. Fougere, Doucette, Suggs right up in the top 5, and a little bit further on back, you can see Delaney leading that third. He's got Collis and Libby, Barkhouse, and Black right up with it.
Yeah, I still don't count out Fougere on this one. His many race experience it makes me wonder if there's a tire game or something being played. I don't know if they're going to need to take tires, but I'm sure thinking that if there's a yellow that comes out anytime soon, a lot of drivers are going to want tires.
We're already a third of the way into this one, very quickly approaching the halfway marker, and I think at that point, if we can stay green for that long, we may very well start seeing some green flag pit stops in this one. 2 sets of tires down on pit road that these drivers are going to be able to use here tonight, and that is going to be strategy to say the least, and that's going to be fun to watch and see who takes 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires. We've seen it all here at Tim's Corner Motorsports. It's going to be a wonder to see what works here this evening, and you can see these drivers sorting it out here up towards the about the middle of the top 10 or so. Everybody's still chasing Woolridge and Tubbs up in the top 2.
I did see in the ticker there was one guy on pit road. I don't know if that was due to contact, or that's Gammon on pit road, I believe, or if he's already playing the strategy. I don't see him on that wide shot, so he must have got tangled up somewhere.
I'm sure it's all sorted out. So you can see Tan Woolridge now, a bit of a gap now, being back to Tufts. 88 car slipping on back. You can see having a little bit of, don't want to say that they're dealing with lap traffic, but there is a lap car up in there. It's going to be John Gahan on the 116 right in there. The first car 1 lap down. You can see put a little bit of distance in between those top 2 drivers. Still pulling away though. That battle of third now being led by Brett Suggs. The 33 car moves up to the podium spot. 33 car in P3, and he's got a mirror full of Fuzier, Doucette, Delaney, Carlos, Markhouse, Libby, and Black. All 10 of those drivers, or 7 of those drivers, up in the top 10. Everybody battling it out, trying to get up towards the front. The 116 car went in the wrong direction. John Gahan gets it gathered and pointed in the right direction. Still going to call that caution flag, though, and is this really the first caution flag of the night?
I would say it would be. Now, this is a few laps short of halfway. I can see guys taking tires with them having 2 sets and hoping for a late caution with 20 to go to get fresh tires again.
100%. We saw the spin there just barely off camera with the 116 that put us under caution here. We're going to stick with pit stops, I think, on this one, because I think this is definitely going to be a big-time maneuver here. Everybody on the same strategy currently, on the same set of tires they started the race with, the same tank of fuel, as with 2 sets of tires down on pit road, and we're kind of close to halfway. We're definitely past a third of the way. I would say come down for four tires at this point.
If I'm one of the guys further on back that maybe hasn't used up too much and it was just riding, I'd be taking 2.
You can see a couple of drivers coming down pit road there. I believe they're get damaged cars, so they're going to have to get that all sorted out, and playing a little faking it out here. A lot of drivers up in the top staying out under this one. So Mike Hopkins going to come down, Travis Roma, Brett Bonner going to come down there as well. The 116 getting some of that damage repaired on that machine, but everybody else staying out in this one. So they're confident in their tires, confident in their cars, and confident in the fuel mileage, it looks like. Or they're confident we're going to get another wreck here with maybe 40 laps or so. Give these drivers enough of a gap to be able to know that they can make that final 50 laps, because they just ran 67. Clean and green here for the first set.
Yeah, the ongoing saying, though, is cautions breed caution. So you're going to stack this field up, and we're about to go green. The lights are off.
Lining them up 2 by 2 all the way through. You can see back up front, Woolridge and Tubbs in the top 2, and this is a big opportunity for Suggs this year. Everybody battling it back. They have closed that gap right on the back bumpers now of the leaders, side by side. Tubbs on the outside, Woolridge down on the bottom. Suggs is down in the 33 car in that 3rd spot, all the way down on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to hold Fuzier back in the 4th. Delaney, Doucette side by side in behind them. Mosier slips just a little bit, but he's going to slide into that 4th position down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Little crossover action. Tufts going from the high side down to the bottom side, trying to get around Woolridge. Phenomenal block there by the 0 car, that blue car up in towards the front. These drivers all over each other here. 70 laps down, about 75 or so, maybe 80 laps to go. I don't know math, but we still got lots of racing action, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. Bit of sideways action for Tully in the 50. Gathers it back up there. There's some contact between he and Keith Lord. It looked like they sorted it all out as we cross the stripe here. Tanton Woolbridge takes that stripe. Well, he comes out of turns 3 and 4. Now he's going to take that stripe to the halfway marker. 75 down, 75 laps to go. And this is exciting. One caution here so far tonight for a multi-car incident. A little bumper car action throughout the evening, but no big incidents in this one. And man, oh man, the exciting action has been up towards the front. Woolridge and Tufts holding on to those top 2 positions all night long, and for the first portion of the race haven't really had to deal with anybody else. Not anymore. Right now they've got a bumper full of that 33 car, the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing Machine. Brett Suggs driving that car, holding on to the 3rd spot all over the back bumper of Tufts. And Noel Fougier up in this fight as well, slides back just a little bit, gives himself a little bit of a cushion to do some study in there. He's got a cushion in behind him there as well. To the 9 car, Cameron Delaney, Nick Doucette, Matthew Barkhouse, Justin Collison, Ryan Libby, and Dylan Black going to round out the top 10 cars here, working lap number 78 of 150. These drivers know that we're on the downward slope at this point. Got to get up towards the front. Got to get it done now. How about Keith Lord in the 017? Biggest move of the race so far, up 11 spots from where he qualified, currently running in the P13 position, right in front of Jeff Nair, right behind Craig Tully. There's a little bit of a bump ski. Must have known he was on TV at this point, but Keith Lord holding on to it, and some great racing going on here.
Yeah, I believe Lord was the last one to qualify out of the last chance qualifier, so he got the luck of the draw because of the incident in that qualifier, and look at him go. He's up there and he's competing. And the other thing I was noticing was Tuft hasn't had to contend with anybody on his bumper all night long. So this could be a little bit of a pressure. You see he's fallen back a little bit from Wooldridge, and you see Suggs now has made the move to 3rd, and he's working his way up. Suggs was quiet all night until now.
And that goes in very different forms and all sorts of big slide there from Tufts. He holds on to it. Doesn't even look like it slowed him down any. But for the first portion of this race,
that'll chew up that right rear real quick if you keep doing that.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good thing he's got those chrome numbers. That's like an extra 10 horsepower, I think. Here we go. Suggs going to take a look down on the bottom side, taking a peek. He is there, right up to the bumper, right up to the door, side by side of this truck. Tufts still has the position. But Brett Suggs taking the short way around the racetrack, holding that race car right on down to the apron. A little bit of a blink, a little bit of a connection issue. You can see that's going to get up into the 3rd position. Check that. That's the 2nd position for Suggs. Setting his sights now on Tant Woolridge, the current leader. Suggs wants to spoil the fun. He doesn't want anybody else to qualify into the TCM 300 yet. He wants to come home and win this 2nd race, make it 2 wins on the season here in 2 starts.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you notice, when Suggs went, Fougier wasted no time getting on Tuft's bumper, and I think it's go time for some of these front guys. It's time to make their moves and get up there so they can ride for a few laps at least before the last Ash.
And these drivers know that you cannot hesitate. You need to get up towards the front. You need to do it now because you never know what's going to go on in the race. We've seen Rex up towards the front, Rex in the back, Rex in the middle, Rex all the way through, and we've seen these things go green flag all the way through. So green flag pit stops definitely going to be the name of the game here tonight as well. Going to take a quick look here at the pit stop link, and you can see top 14 driver, 88 laps on those tires, on that set of tires. Everybody out there on the original set of tires they started the race with, they've still got 2 sets of tires out on the racetrack, or down on pit road rather, and they're still out on the racetrack with what they started with. So that's going to be really wearing on things, and it's going to be a wonder to see if any of those drivers that came down for tires here on that one caution or under that one caution start to pick up lap times. You can see, though, for the most part, everybody that stayed out on the racetrack still up in the top 14. Bonner picked up a couple of spots, but it doesn't really look like tires are helping these guys out too much.
No, it is a tight track, and until those tires really come in, it would be tough to say. I'm trying to see Bonner's lap times here to see if they're really that much different, and they don't seem to be much different than Woolridge up out front right now. But it'll be interesting to see with 20 to go what the speed differences will be.
There you can see within about a hundredth or a tenth of a second between old tires and newer tires between Bonner there and Lewis in the 16 machine. So right around even, pretty close with the old tires and new tires. So it all depends on how hard these guys are abusing their equipment, how much they're able to save for the last, like you said, the last dash or so. But these 2 drivers up towards the front, Woolridge and Suggs, checked out just a little bit. Now about a second back to the third place driver, Caden Tubbs, Fouchier, and Delaney rounding out the top 5. See Suggs all over now the back bumper, 97 laps down, crossing the stripe for lap number 98, doing everything he can to get to the back bumper. It's one thing to get to him, it's one thing to get beside him, it's another thing entirely to get up and around him, and Suggs wants to do just that, wants to come home with a second victory here in 2 races in the season here for Tim's Corner Motorsports, the 2022-23 Fall and Winter Series, and each of these drivers battling it out. The winner here tonight, you can see connection issue once again for Brett Suggs, but he's holding on to the back bumper there. The winner of this race moves on to the TCM 300, doesn't have to worry about points or wins throughout the rest of the season. They get themselves that qualifying position.
Yeah, and I'm kind of shocked that I haven't seen Suggs try the outside line yet. Again, it's early, but I really thought with 2 wide racing we had earlier that there would be rubber up there for him to be able to make it 2 wide. And again, maybe he's just waiting.
Less than 50 laps to go, 48 to be exact, as these drivers click off these lap times relatively quickly. 15 seconds, the distance around here. Suggs all over now the back bumper, taking a beat down low, looking up high, trying to find some grip, trying to get a little bit of an advantage. Found some grip that time coming out of turn number 2 on the high side, but Woolridge going to move up just a little bit. Try and close the door. Not quite enough room to close the door there. Here comes Suggs. Oh, makes a little contact there. Little tire rubski from the 33 to the 0, almost up to the outside wall. Going to try and do a little bit of crossover action, take a peek down on the bottom side. Gets close to the apron, but not quite enough steam to get up around the Woolridge machine. 105 in the books, 45 to go. Suggs doing everything he can to get up to that position to try and hold on to the lead. Trying to get that lead, hold on to it, and drive away with it. Back into the third position, though, Caden Tubbs has a new challenger. You can see who's here. Looks on the high side. Nope, that's the 116. 116 of John Gahan, a lap or 2 down. 2 laps down, it looks like, in that 116. It looks like he may have come down pit road here, actually, to get some fresh tires, because he just drove by our top 4 cars there, standing like they were standing still.
Yeah, that right there was the new tires that we were talking about. But right out, as I mentioned it, you saw Suggs try and go to the outside. He's now going on the inside. I thought maybe he showed his hand a little too early. You saw Tanton move up into that high line because he saw the runs he was getting. This is going to be an interesting last, we'll say 25, 30 laps once these tires really wear out.
And you can see Suggs down on the bottom side, evenly matched as they cross the stripe. Woolridge up on the high side. A little bit of grip build up there, but you can see Suggs having that connection issue. Has been warned multiple times by race officials to try and get that fixed. They have had their hand on the black flag, ready to throw it if it becomes a bigger issue. And you can see he's down on the bottom side. Looks like it's all sorted out now. Woldridge, a little bit of a slip up there. A lap ago, lost the back part of the race car, lost just a little bit of the track position. And you can see Suggs almost able to complete that pass as they cross the stripe. But a huge run on that outside as they get into turn 1 and 2. And coming out of 2 into 3 and 4, you can see Woldridge really has a fast car in that middle groove. And there you see Suggs with the connection once again. That's may very well play a factor into this one. You can see Woldridge doing everything he can on the high side, trying to make it work, trying to get it back around Suggs, and trying to make sure Suggs doesn't take that lead position and drive away with it. You can see the 116 car of Byron, check that, of Gahan, trying to get one of those laps back the hard way here. And you can see he's closing right into the back bumper of the leaders with those fresher tires.
Yeah, that's an unsettling feeling for Woolridge when that car disappears on your inside. Where's he going to come back? It's part of the iRacing world. It just happens.
And you can see still side by side with these two drivers holding on for the lead. Lap traffic up in front. If we stay green, absolutely going to be a factor in this one. Suggs, Woolridge sliding back and forth, giving the position back and forth. Get right down to it, almost a little bit of contact there, a little side-by-side rubski. And oh, by the way, the 116 closing right into the back bumper. Another little bit of a wiggle there for Woldridge. And you can see, again, the connection issue with the 33 of Suggs as they cross the stripe. Give that lap to Suggs, but you can see Woldridge pulling tough out on the high side, and it looks like he's going to get himself almost looked like the 116 going to move up to the high side, try and push that 0 car, but 116 trying to gain one of those laps back here. 32 laps to go. He's got the fresher tires. Those leaders, though, they've been out on the same set of tires for 118 laps. Ashton, you ran a few laps earlier here. What did the tire wear feel like once you got towards the end of the race?
There wasn't much change, which was nice. What was making a difference was actually in practice. You see all that rubber buildup on the top side, so if you're tough on the Woldridge, on the outside, there's a fine line to run, and he's doing a really good job. If you get up a little higher than what he is there, your inside tires get in those marbles, and that's where you see him get loose off the corner. But if he keeps it nice down and tight to Suggs, almost pinching him down, they can run like this for another 25-30 laps, and it shouldn't be an issue. Just who's going to make the first mistake is what it looks like it's going to happen here.
And as these two drivers battling it back out, had to have been about 20 laps or so. These drivers have been side by side at the very least. They're still pulling away from third place Caden Tufts. You can see now almost 1.5 seconds back to third, 3.5, almost 4 seconds back onto fourth, and even further on back to fifth in the rest of the field here. These two drivers hooked up like a tow truck, side by side. Suggs on the bottom, Woolridge on the high side. And you can see 116 of John Gahan doing everything he can to try and be in position to get himself at least a lap back. Multiple laps down, looks like 2 laps down for the 116, and he wants to get one of those laps back and try and get back on the lead lap here. But with time running out, you can see Suggs finally makes the pass here with 25 laps to go, and we'll see if he's able to pull away with it. But right now, it looks like he's going to be dealing with Tant Woolridge. Gives him an opportunity. He knows he has to go 25 laps left in this one. 25 circuits around the racetrack. Not a whole lot of time to regroup, not a whole lot of time to replan and rebuild, but he knows he's got to do all that to see if he can get around that 33 car. And you can see, again, with the connection issues, having some troubles holding on to the steady latency there. But you can see, pulls out just a little bit, 2-3 car lengths, the distance between first, between second, and it's a country mile in behind them. Caden Tufts about 2.2 seconds on back into third, running by himself. Noel Fouchier back here with Barkhouse as well for third. Check that, fourth and fifth. Justin Collison leading an army of cars here. Cameron Delaney back here in seventh. And you can see everybody pretty much single file throughout this one. Little side-by-side action as we get a little bit further on into the pack. Action heating up front, action heating up in the middle of the pack. We're hot all over the place here, Ashton.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look back now at the pass that Suggs made earlier there, and it makes you think that maybe Woolridge and Tough maybe used up a little bit more of their stuff early on when they were battling. And you see some of the guys as they're checking up back there. One of them's in the wall. The 41 is in the wall there. Everybody seems to be pointing in the right direction and heading the right way, so no caution. But you almost see the guys a little further on back in your fourth and fifth as Fougere, Barkhouse, Collison. They're running a little bit faster times, and they're able to get that car right down to the bottom and get it to rotate. So maybe just ran a little harder laps early on so he doesn't have the tires at the end of the race.
Made mention earlier on about lap traffic being a big time thing here. These drivers turning laps here of 15 seconds or better, and there you can see out the front windshield of the current leader, Brett Suggs. He has got a windshield full of lap traffic here. 18 laps to go. Suggs trying to do everything he can. Has about a half a second lead over Woolridge, and you can see he's going to try and pull away just a bit, but he's going to have to come up on that lap traffic here before the end of this one if we do, in fact, stay green. And you can see there's probably 3, 4, 5 cars that are in danger of going a lap down here, and been a crazy run. Oh, yellow flag, caution flag flies here with 16 laps to go.
Yeah, right in front of the leaders there. A couple cars rolling down the track. Sure, Suggs had a little bit of a heart attack as the cars started rolling down. Look at that Mustang go.
Yeah, racing Mustang pace car getting up through the field, and man, oh man, it's second caution here tonight. Pardon me, been an eventful race in this one for sure. Going through some changes here. It's 33 years old, almost 34. Here you can see the 5 car. He slows down, loops the cone there at the bottom side of the racetrack. This is live. Why did I hit live? So we'll back this up.
I believe the wreck was done by now.
Yeah, the live TV, it's a magical thing when it works out when we want it to. But here you can see this is the 46 car. Focus in on him, and there you can see a little bit of a nudge from Black in the 6 car. Tully with a little bit of a shove there too, but unfortunately nowhere to go. Good news is not that hard of a hit for these drivers, so they're going to be able to gather things back up and try and get back out on track to see if they can get themselves a little bit of a better finishing position. And pit road, not as busy as expected. Fougere comes down, Brody Lewis comes down, Jeff Darren, Dylan Black getting some work done as well. But there's a lot of drivers still staying out. We got to take a peek at those drivers that are out there on older tires. There you see the top 4 still on 137 lap old tires. Bonner had a great run up to the 5th, into the top 5. But again, old tires up towards the front for the most part.
I'm shocked that Fougere decided to pit on that one. I really thought he'd be one to stay out with only 12 to go. I don't know if the lights on the pace car are off, and we'll maybe be at 11 or 10 to go. That's not much time to get up through the field. We saw that fresh tires weren't making that big of a difference early on, but in saying that, Bonner up into 5th from, I believe at the time we checked, was 14th or 15th, so he does have fresher tires. Is it going to be enough to make the move?
And actually, it looks like we did have some takers down on pit road. Woolridge, Tufts, Barkhouse, Delaney, Collison, and Travis Troma all trapped a lap down, it looks like. Getting a restart here with 11 laps to go. Going to cross the stripe with 10 to go. Looks like 7 cars currently on the lead lap. They're all chasing that 33 car of Brett Suggs. Tully moves himself all the way up to P2, and it's a hornet's nest in behind them. Guys, up the top 5, top 3 picture. There you can see, holy moly cannoli, the 88 of Tufts. A little bit sideways, a little bit pointed in the wrong direction, but I think everybody gathered it back up. We're still pointed in the right direction, and we are still green flag racing action all the way around this racetrack. Caden Tuff seeing a whole lot of it. He wants to get up through the front of the pack, wants to get up back to where he was earlier on, but it's looking like he's got himself one heck of a battle back there. Brett Suggs pulling away to a half a second lead now over Craig Tully. Side by bumper by side by other car and other drivers all the way through the rest of this one. Ashton actually picking up.
Yeah, I don't even know where to look. I'm watching your screen. I'm watching my screen. They're 3-4 wide, guys bumping each other. I don't know how Woolridge has saved 2 or 3 of being tagged, and it keeps. I'm going to give him the Crazy Hands Award or something like that for saving it every time. It's
Black coming down pit road.
We got another one sideways in third.
Dan Woldridge around.
He's out of the race.
Flag flies. All right, we're going to need the spark notes there, and probably a cold ice cold Coke. Woo! Intensity picking up.
That was a lot in 5 laps, and we've got 4 to go in all of this, so it's about to get crazy again.
Business has picked up indeed. Going to take one more look here at the U-House Racing Design Instant Replay. We're going to focus in on what went down with some of these drivers running up towards the front. Going to take a peek here at the Alexander machine as well as the Woldridge machine. And there you can see action on track. Everything looks good getting into the corner. You can see Woldridge in there just a little bit too hot to try. Gets into the back corner there of Alexander. And just kind of a lazy spin into the Jersey barriers there. So tough break for Woldridge, but it looks like he's going to live to race another day here. And we'll see where he stacks back up in the running order here, but we'll see if we can gather everything back up here with 3 to go. Going to get ourselves a green, white, checkered restart here for the second race of the season. Phenomenal racing all night long through the heat races, through the Conci races, and here 147 laps into the main show here tonight. Brett Suggs out front, Craig Tully, Jason Goss, Ryan Libby, Barrett Bonner going to be the top 5. Kyle Boudreau, Keith Lord, and Justin Collison. That's it for the lead lap drivers. Everybody else getting trapped a lap down under the last caution there, coming down pit road to get some tires, get a little bit of repair action. And it looks like Collison actually going to be the potentially the free pass car. May very well be Matthew Parkhouse. But we'll double check on that.
I believe it was Collison. I believe he already took it because at one point he went past the pace car. So I believe he already took his lap back. So it was Collison.
Collison gets back in the lead lap, so that's 8 drivers now on the lead lap, and you can see the lights are still on the iRacing pace car, getting everything kind of sorted back out for this one. 24 drivers here in the Tim's Corner Motorsports League starting this one. We had a full house for qualifying. 46 drivers, I believe, attempted to gain themselves a position here tonight, and that's when we closed registrations. There's still drivers out there that didn't make the show here tonight, but there's plenty of action coming up here on Vidane TV. Caution light's going to come on once again here. We've got another Tim's Corner Motorsports race coming up in 2 weeks' time here live on Vidane TV. Got a lot of stuff coming up. Tim's Corner Live coming up here tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening as well. Taking a peek at the calendar, the Pennsylvania iRacing Group coming back here next Thursday night on the 13th of October, kicking things off at Daytona for the Vidane TV Daytona race. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Back here on the 18th for Tim's Corner Motorsports. The NEP Motor City Legends coming back here November 4th for a handful of races as well. So lots of cool stuff coming on. And before we get there, we got 3 laps to go in this one. Brett Suggs gets the shot that he needs. He's going to try and hold on to it, but they are side by side in behind him. Caution flag flies once again. We'll see if we can take a peek and find out what happened.
Is it possible it was a jump start? Did he go early?
May very well could have been, because I don't see anybody out of shape here.
Yeah, the pace car had barely pulled off, and it looked like he may have jumped a little too early, just a bit.
So we're going to move back down here in this one. If we do get a lucky pass car here, it is going to be Matthew Parkhouse. First car 1 lap down, and going to line everything back up once again behind the iRacing Mustang pace car. And there you see the 9 car of Delaney is actually going to go around. He's going to rejoin the tail end of the longest line, or the tail end of the field here. So that's 9 cars now on the lead lap. The 81 going to take this opportunity to come down pit road. You can see he's got a bunch of damage there on the right front side. Potentially going to get some tires put on that thing to see if he can get himself gripped up and hooked up here in this one. And with only 9 cars on the lead lap, definitely a good opportunity. But let's take a look here. Craig Tully and Jason Goss, the 34, 50 on your screen there, and the 41 right in behind him, that primer gray paint scheme we're so used to seeing. 19 spots gained for both of them from where they qualified. Keith Lord in the 017 car back in that 6th position. He's gained 18 spots from where he started here tonight. So big time movers up here in this one. It looks like the field gathering back up. 9 cars going to be on the lead lap for this one. Lights still on, but they're doubling up, so I think we're going to get the 1 to go here, Ashley.
Yeah, I saw I believe it was the 15 go down pit road also at one point. I don't know if he was a lap down and just got the call late to go down pit road. And now we got some shuffling around. I was going to say it's going to take a little bit. I don't know if he'll have to extend this or not. But we are coming to green. Lights are still off.
Getting everybody sorted out, trying to get back into the positions. Lights back on the iRacing pace car. Want to make sure we get this finish right, and race officials doing everything in their power to make sure that we get ourselves a fair finish in this one. Lights go off once again on the iRacing Mustang pace car. We're lined up 2 by 2. Suggs, Tully, Libby, Goff, Bonner, the top 5. Collison, Lord, Boudreau, Delaney, Dixette, the top 10. 9 drivers on the lead lap. This is going to be one heck of a shootout. Green-white checkered action here for the second round in the TCM Special Motorsports 2022-2023 season. Suggs gets the start. Oh, big time little for Libby. Loses a lot of track position back in the 46. That's going to bottle him back up. Sideways. Oh, big slide for the 46. Slides in front of the 116. Unfortunately, gathers him back up. Caution flag coming out once again. And man, oh man, calamity picking up in this one, Ashton.
Yeah, absolutely. And Collison and the London Recreational Racing number 12 there just held the bottom line and just holding his line and finding his way now all the way up into 4th from 7th on that restart.
Yeah, a little bit of calamity corner going on in this one. Going to take a peek at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay here once again, and you can see just what went down. Focus into the 46 car. Big time slide there on the back tires. There's a little bit of contact between he and the 04, then a little bit more contact with Collison there in the 12 car. Moves the back out of the car, gets a little bit of help down into the inside wall and back up into the racing groove for those 2 drivers. Keith Lord, it looks like he's going to be a driver that comes down pit road and tries to take advantage, maybe get one of those sets of tires on that thing. We'll see what it does. You can see the right sides of that car up in the air now. So we'll see if he takes 4 or 2. The field coming up in his back bumper. Going to be a 2-tire stop. See if he can get that thing ripped up. Ryan Libby now going to come down pit road as well. May very well lose a lap here. Lots of damage on that 46 car, but we're going to gather him back up here. Suggs still has a lead, and it's nerve-wracking. We had a couple of long green flag runs, and then a couple of quick cautions here towards the end of this one. Lots of restarts, lots of things that you really have to focus on as the leader, and especially, oh, by the way, having that connection issue looming in the background for the 33 of Suggs. So got to keep an eye on that. Tully up on the outside, made mention, 19 spots gained for him, as has Jason Goss right in behind him as well, the 41. 19 spots gained. Barrett Bonner, Kyle Woodrow, Campbell Delaney, Keith Lord, Justin Collison, and Caden Tufts, the 9 drivers currently on the lead lap. And that tells me there's 9 drivers that can come home with victory here tonight. Lights out once again, and here we go. iRacing Mustang pace car going to make that hard left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road one more time, and that is opening the door for Brett Suggs to take charge once again. Green flag flies, popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go. And this one for Suggs in the 33 needs to hold on for just a handful of corners. Has Tully in the background and a Hornet's nest in behind him as they take the white flag. 1 lap to go. The 81 car out of shape slides up in the outside wall, collects a whole bunch of cars. We've taken the white flag lap. The checkered flag flies in the air. There's a wreck there for 4th place on back. Brett Suggs sweeping the first 2 races. Not going to give anybody else the opportunity to try and score that starting position in the Tim's Corner Motorsports 300 coming up in December. He is in fact going to come home tonight's winner. Craig Tully in behind him, Jason Goss, Keith Lord, and Campbell Delaney going to round out the top 5. And man, oh man, we're going to have to go through timing and scoring here in this one to see if we can get the official word as Brett Suggs burns him down there on the front straightaway. Solid racing action all evening long here. Brett Suggs coming home with win number 2 in race number 2. And Ashton, awesome racing going on here, and it's great to see that. Got a lot of green flag racing in here tonight, entertaining the masses here, as it were, and we're going to get hooked up here with these top 3 drivers here. And I think you've already caught up down there with the second place driver, Craig Tully.
Yeah, I believe Craig is here with me now. And Craig, you were there at the end, and you did everything you possibly could. How was that for you guys?
Definitely didn't expect it the way it was going. I didn't even think I was going to make the race. I apologize to Noel. I think his name's Noel. I got in a little hot. I apologize. I tapped. But yeah, barely got in and started at the back, and it was a little rough going, but made it way through. And then it just came down to strategy. I thought the car was still turning really well, and I still had some speed, so I didn't even bother taking tires. And I think Brett did the same. I'm not too sure, but it paid out.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a game of attrition at the end. You missed a couple of the sideways cars, we'll call them, and got yourself in position to win. And just had that last restart. Would you change anything on that last restart?
No, honestly, I was trying to survive. I didn't know who had tires behind me, and I was just trying to get down underneath. I know Brett's really good on this sim. Runs really clean. I wasn't going to get to his bumper or nothing or tap him. Brett and I are buddies on here, so no, it was good. I'm glad to get second. I would have liked the win because I don't think I ever won my way into the All-Star race. So, but if I'm going to get second, Brett's a good guy to get second to, I guess.
Sounds great. Who do you got on the race car? Who helps you get here?
I got to thank the boys, the RBR boys. There was a few of us in here. A couple of us didn't make it, but it's fun to get back into Tim's races. Thank you guys for putting the broadcast on. It's always cool to rewatch it. Tim and everything, and Vinane, and Tulco Electric for sponsoring the car. And that's it. See you guys in Oxford.
Sounds good. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks.
All right, back to you. I believe you've caught up with either the first or third place guy.
Yeah, down here in Victory Lane with the leader of the pack and the leader of one of the newest and hottest teams in sim racing, Brett Suggs of Racing and Marketing, Team BSRM, BRSM, BS. I almost had it.
BSRM.
BSRM.
You had it
I should have wrote it. I had it right the first time. But in any sense, guys are coming in, dominating the races, and coming home here, winning the first 2 races here in the TCM 2022-23 season. Talk to us, Brett. Man, really putting on a heck of a show here for us.
Yeah, it was definitely a good show. Big shout out to Tanton. Man, he runs so clean and so hard. It's just always really fun racing with him. That was an intense battle that we had going on there for a while, and I know I was having some internet problems, and I don't really know what I can do to fix it. I've literally been having an issue for a week now, but I am at school, so I can't really contact my internet provider to get it fixed up. But yeah, no, it's still a really good race, and good racing there for Tully to get a P2. A lot of respect to that guy, man. We go way back. Tully and I have been buddies for a little while, so good to see him have a good run here tonight.
Absolutely, a little bit of a who's who here in TCM in the sim racing world, and really showing some great car control, even with that connection issue that was kind of looming in the background there, side by side for what seemed like 850 laps there with the Tanton Woldridge machine. What goes through your mind when you know you've got somebody like that, either on your inside or outside?
Yeah, it's definitely tough, and keeping in the back of my mind, I know I'm blinking a little bit, so if there's any contact, then the issue there would be the connection. But Tanton, I wouldn't trust anybody more than I did Tanton right there to run on the outside, because we've had such great races in the past. I can think kind of one of the big TCM races last season was at Hickory, and Tanton put on a clinic and brought home the win. So good shout out to him there. But it was hard, man. I had someone, I think Caden or someone was in my ear saying on the broadcast they were saying I should try the top side. So I did, and it was starting to work, starting to find something. And then I think Tanton and I might have netcoded a little bit because I got washed up some. So once that happened, Tanton jumped to the outside to try to defend that lane, and he was making it hook up pretty good. I was surprised how good that lane really was. Then once we were able to jump to his inside, like you said, we were side by side for what felt like 800 laps, but I'm sure, it definitely went by quick, but it was a tough battle, and finally we were able to clear him there and then kind of set sail. But the big concern I had at the end of that thing was if I had enough fuel to make it to the end with all them yellows.
Lots of different storylines going into this one and coming out of this one, but the biggest one being Brett Suggs coming home with victory number 2 in as many races. So definitely going to be a factor for the TCM Championship later on in the season, as well as the TCM 300. And Brett, we know you got a huge following out on Twitch, the streaming world and the iRacing world. Where can we find you, and who helps you out? Who gets it done for the Virtual 33 team?
Yeah, definitely a big shout out to Racer Tees first and foremost for painting us a very clean breast cancer awareness month super late model. He did a great job on it, and I think it looks fantastic. So shout out to Lee over there, as well as all the boys back at the shop. McCooney Setup Shop, using code TEAM33 will catch you 15% off at checkout. And they got a lot of cool stuff coming up here pretty soon with some big iRacing events. So be sure to tune into their social pages, as well as a Bruzy Racewear for some racing gloves that look absolutely stellar. All the guys that run this league, Tim, and you guys with the broadcast, just everybody that puts this whole deal on and follows our social content on Brett Suggs Racing Marketing as well.
And that's it, too. Count them, 2 wins for Brett Suggs here in the season here for Tim's Corner Motorsports. Lots of stuff coming up here later on in the season, but Brett, congratulations, man. Go celebrate this one. And taking a peek down pit road, not seeing a third-place driver, but I am seeing race director Tim Terry down there. And Tim,
hold on, no, hold on.
Oh.
Jason Goss is currently loading his car in the trailer. So I believe you have caught up with somebody that usually on Tuesday nights is spotting for an eNASCAR driver, and I know he doesn't get a whole lot of this on the other side when we do NEPs. Why don't you, Paul, catch up with Keith Lord?
I can definitely do that. We saw Keith Lord making some moves in a couple of different directions here throughout the night here. Solid run. Where'd we end up? Taking a look at the starting lineup. P4. How about that? All the way up towards the front. Top 5, kicking off NEPs. Do you take some of this momentum and bring it to Daytona for race note 1 next Thursday night?
Yeah, absolutely. Had a blast tonight. I mean, I'll be honest. I thought this it was going to be tough, and I didn't expect these long green flag runs. I kind of burnt my stuff up even just riding around in the back. It was really tough to pass. A couple cautions kind of helped me get caught back up there, and obviously kind of playing the pit strategy. I felt like the field wasn't caught up enough to stay on the lead lap, so I stayed out the first time, and that kind of helped. Definitely didn't have a 4th place car, but I was able to come home with 4th. I apologize to the 81. I did not mean to kind of drove it in pretty deep to the last corner because I had the freshest rubber and just didn't expect it to slow up that much. But it was really fun. Can't thank. I'm really excited to get the NEP season started, so this definitely helps. I mean, 150 laps here was tough. Man, my arm was getting tired, so it was good to get back into iRacing shape, I guess.
Yeah, and we make the joke all the time, real racing, sim racing, a little bit different, but very much the same, and the physicality, definitely one of the things. All I did was talk the whole time, and I'm sitting here sweating, and it's 50 degrees outside, so definitely a little bit of physicality here in the sim racing world, but man, a great showing here tonight. Biggest mover of the race as well, 20 spots gained, and coming home in P4, and we made mention on to NEP next week, going to be a heck of a lot of fun. What else is going on here? And I guess the end of the racing season, as well as the beginning of the quote-unquote sim racing season for Keith Lord.
Yeah, got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of spotting. We'll be in Thompson this week with Spencer Davis, Cody LeBlanc, and Josh King for Super Late Models, Modifies, and the ACT Tour. Then Cody's going to run some races down in Carolina with a mini stock, so we're headed down there in November. We have 4 or 5 straight weeks of racing, so it's definitely really busy. Going to miss the Homestead NEP race because we'll be down in Carolina. I'll try to find a sim rig, try to get something to work, but definitely been a really busy year, and it's gonna continue that right through November. So, but I am excited to get the sim racing season started. It's always a blast to get to race with these guys.
100%. Want to give you the opportunity here to thank anybody that happens to be on the race car and makes it happen here for you for that 17 team.
Yeah, absolutely. YRD Designs, Lord Spotting Services, St. Pharaoh Racing, Chalu. Man, we got a lot of new sponsors on the car this year, and I don't have it in front of me to look at.
But
those
cue cards written up for next week.
Yeah, for real. And of course, you guys and Tim for putting this on. It's this is the most fun I've had in iRacing in a while. It was this race right here. It was a blast. So I hope it was fun for everyone watching, and just looking forward to hopefully talking to you guys more throughout the year.
Looking forward to it for sure, man. Great run here tonight. Celebrate it.
Thanks.
Looking down pit road now. I'm looking at Tim, and he's giving me the nod. And I think is the car loaded up? Did we load the driver up as well? Or
yeah, we don't have Jason Goss with us, but yeah, and I think Keith kind of hit the nail on the head there, where scoring issue, whatever you want to call it. Field wasn't caught up to the pace car. Those guys that stayed out had the strategy. Those guys that did not or decided to come down pit road ended up a half lap or a straightaway behind the pace car when they did decide to come down pit road. So nothing that we can control. I know we had to take that last restart back with one driver not in the proper place and not listening to a spotter. But unfortunately, it is what it is. We're going to go back and take a look and make sure that there's nothing that else we can do to prevent that in the future. But it is what it is. Good show. 2 weeks' time at Oxford. We'll try it once again. That one's a 200-lap race. Usually at Oxford, we step up the laps a little bit. We'll do the 300. We'll do the 333 in January. And then most of these will probably be 100 to 125 lap races. When we do them the rest of the season, congratulations to Brett again. 2 races, 2 wins, and we'll see what he can do if the 33 car pulls into the virtual Oxford Plains Speedway. And hopefully everybody takes a couple of weeks to breathe. And I'm going to Shediac. Ashton's going to Shediac. We got the Tim's Corner live show tomorrow night. Paul, we're talking about a race that's going to pay, what did they say? Something like $20,000 to win at Petty in next season. So Mike Stevens Memorial 254. We're going to chat tomorrow night in Tim's Corner Live. Lots of money to be thrown around there. We'll chat up with Jason and Wayne Smith, and we might even have a call in from the Dominican with Dylan Dow and those boys down there too. So tomorrow's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Dylan Langell may be back as long as he's cooled down from Sunday. It's been a week, but Paul, we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. And Wednesday nights bringing TCM live every week, and I'm excited for next week as well. NEP kicking things off for season 4. We're gonna see if the reigning, defending, three-time champ John Peters can defend and make it an even 4 championships, and that's gonna kick off next Thursday night at Daytona, right here live on Verdane TV. But that's going to do it here for us for tonight. Everybody here at Verdane TV, Tim's Corner Motorsports, I'm Showtime Paul Strickland Jr., Ashton Reekie helping me out in the booth, Tim Terry, everybody else helping out with the behind the scenes stuff page out there, doing all the buttons and yelling everybody in the back and making sure everything goes A-OK. We'll catch you on the flip side when we do. We are going to be doing it live.